I'm Liam.
I'm Wayne.
You're listening to In Film We Trust YouTube.
A place where we post clips from our recent episode.
All links down below in the description.
And now, on with the show.
So it was really only a matter of time before we got round to doing a DePalma film, because not only is he one of, I'd say, the most influential modern directors, he's also one of your personal favourites.
He is, Wayne. I was looking forward to this episode. Especially, there's a certain period of DePalma for me, what comes through that shines, Wayne. 70s, early 80s. I'm talking Blowout. I'm talking Body Double. I'm talking Dress to Kill. Carrie. That is a catalogue of films that's top tier for anybody, isn't it?
For you, this is like a seminal period in a seminal director's career.
This is not hyperbole. For me, this stands alongside Martin Scorsese's work.
I can see where you come from then. He's been around since he's been doing films since the 60s?
60s, very avant-garde filmmaker. He had films like Hi Mum. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say he almost brought us Robert De Niro.
Yeah. Was it him that did Greetings?
Greetings,
He did
Hi
Greetings
Mum,
as well.
yes.
I couldn't believe when I was researching that he did Greetings, yeah.
Is that because it seems such a contrast to his later thrillers?
It almost does, yeah, because that was quite controversial at the time, wasn't it?
It was very controversial.
Controversy is a word that just follows De Palma
You'd almost
around.
say De Palma started in the art house.
Basically,
It
yes.
was very almost French New Wave influenced.
Yeah, because he was part of the New Hollywood movement as well.
Movement, as we said, Scorsese. Or the movie brats, as they were also called.
They were referred to movie brats.
Yeah, they were kind of raised on cinema. They were referenced in cinema. Kind of later what Tarantino would do in the 90s, like how, Tarantino's films are referencing other films. And you see this with De Palma. De Palma's, he's referencing Hitchcock a lot, especially his thrillers.
Yeah, so the thing we need to talk about when we're especially doing background for this film is, what I mentioned before, controversy. De Palma can't escape it at all. He almost welcomes it in a sense, doesn't he?
Would you say, Wayne, that Body Double, the film we're covering today,
Yes.
could be, most likely is, his most controversial film?
Possibly, yes. Almost intentionally, though.
Do you know what, Wayne? I've got a quote from the man himself. Do you know what he said? And
Yes.
I like this. I like people who try to push buttons.
Go ahead.
He says, if this one doesn't get an X rating, nothing I ever do is going to. This is going to be the most erotic and surprising and thrilling movie I know how to make. I'm going to give them everything they hate and more of it than they've ever seen. They think Scarface was violent. They think my other movies were erotic. Wait until they see Body Double.
Funny, because I would argue that Scarface is a far more violent film. I would almost say it's far more controversial in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'd actually agree. Scarface is more violent.
It is, yeah.
But I think it's not as controversial because the violence in Scarface isn't necessarily pointed towards women.
Yeah, that's the thing that came up.
It's kind of gang warfare.
Yeah, because I read a woman called Julie Solomon, who was a film critic. She referred to De Palma as a, quote, perverse misogynist. And you have to think of when this movie came out as well, because at kind of the height of the women's lib movement, that was big at the time.
Well, it's a little after that. I would say the height would be the
maybe
70s.
it's still going on.
But yes, we're in the very conservative 80s, aren't we?
Yes.
And, we've discussed Mary Whitehouse and these kind of authoritarian types who were trying to constantly link images seen on the TV to delinquent behavior in real life.
It's like with the people, even not so long ago, which were trying to link violent video games to real-life crime.
But yes, as you said, the label misogynistic came about. And I think there was even a group here in the UK that demanded that some of the profits of Body Double, which there was none,
Wasn't many, no.
go towards a battered women's shelter.
Battered women's shelter, that did happen, yeah. I
yeah.
actually read about that, yes.
So let's get onto it. 1984 was this film.
Yes.
10 million. And do you know how we were milling there, saying there's no profits for that battered women's? 8 million it took.
Did not marry many at all.
So 2 million loss.
Which is interesting because after he made Scarface, Columbia Pictures signed him to a 3-picture deal.
And this was the first.
This killed it. After this, they were like, no, we don't want anything to do with this guy anymore. That was the end of the deal.
Which I don't understand. It's a great film.
It is a great film.
That's Hollywood, man.
It's a shame, but
it's all about profit.
It's the box office numbers, isn't it?
So did you know, and this is something I actually didn't know until Wayne, today when I was researching for some of this film.
Yes.
When De Palma was writing the treatment for this film, not the script, the treatment.
The treatment, yeah.
Well, do you know when? That treatment took place in New York.
Did it?
New York.
Well, were a lot of his films not set in New York before this? This was like his first LA film.
Yes, but the story of this film is so intrinsically a Hollywood Los Angeles story.
Yeah.
You can't place that. How would this take place in New York?
It wouldn't have been the same thing at all.
No.
It's like it'd be like having Mulholland Drive take place outside of
Kansas.
Exactly.
That'd be a strange juxtaposition.
Yeah, it absolutely didn't fit at all. And the idea came up, I believe, when he was making Dress to Kill, and he was talking to Angie Dickinson's body double, and his idea was how you could use a body double to manipulate somebody. If you had an exact copy, like a doppelganger, how you could use that to manipulate somebody.
Well, he was discussing with these body doubles during Dress to Kill, and this kind of the idea germinated because it's a very interesting concept because this film, a lot of the themes of this film, which we'll point out later, is the illusion of Hollywood.
Yes.
And if we're talking about the literal body double, not the film, but a body double in a film, that's all an illusion.
Yeah, exactly.
And this way, you can work in Hitchcockian trademarks, which De Palma loves, and use this theme of illusion in a really great, suspenseful thriller way.
It is. Would you say that De Palma, in the sense like Hitchcock, De Palma was kind of ahead of his time, kind of like Hitchcock was as well?
That's a weird thing, because he's taken tropes of an earlier age, similar in a way, even though you might not link these two filmmakers. Steven Spielberg or George Lucas are taking tropes from, those 1920s, 30s serials.
Yeah.
There's kind of kids' adventure type films, and they were bringing it to a bigger and more broader audience in the 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. And you could almost see De Palma's doing the same thing. He's modernizing a form that is almost a throwback to noir films, mystery films of the 40s, 50s, and making it something contemporary of his time. So it's hard to argue. Is he pushing things forward, or is he a retroist in a way? It's really hard to interpret. I don't know the answer. What do you think?
Well, the thing that confuses me, and when people slam this movie or just being a Hitchcock ripoff, not recognizing the clear homages, the clear tribute that's being paid, the fact that this movie has such undercurrents of movies like Rear Window, one of my favourite Hitchcock films, and also Vertigo.
Which I'm going to slag you off here, Wayne.
Yes?
You don't like Vertigo much?
Not as much as his other classics, I'd say.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry, so you had a Vertigo near the top of the list.
Well, I like them both the same, but Vertigo is enticing as well. It's almost debauched for its time, Vertigo. The sense, he's chasing this essential dead woman, isn't he? This phantom. And in a sense, this is very much what Body Double's doing, Wayne.
In sense, talking about offending people, the Washington Post described this film. They said, the film has been carefully calculated to offend almost everyone, and probably will.
That should go on the poster.
I think it should have been on the poster. Like when movies would say, like, the film this person doesn't want you to see, something like that. Like when Monty Python, The Life of Brian came out, and it was banned in, I think it was Finland, and so the advertising in the UK was like, the film's so funny, it was banned in Finland. So something like that. Like putting like an interesting twist on advertising slogans. So
what do you think the visuals of this film are? They're very good. They're very slick. This is a very slick film, would you say?
It's a beautiful film, yes. And it's a very seamless, fantastic directing. Like, De Palma is... There's no other word. He's fantastic in terms of
visual stylist.
Yeah, in visual stylist, in terms of camera, not just camera movement, camera angles as well. The guy knows exactly like the tones and the emotions he's trying to hit.
Well, as you said, beautiful, which is a beautiful film.
It is.
Visually. And they actually, 3 different directors of photography were auditioned for this film. And each of them were used to bring their own style. But De Palma was looking for a specific thing. So they were told to bring their own style, not trying to cater to De Palma. But one of them, Stephen Burham, he was chosen because he was the one who could most encapsulate the beauty and glamour of women, which is what this film is about. It's the idealized, it's the beauty, the glamour, it's, as we keep saying, the illusion.
And do you know whose favourite film this was?
Patrick Bateman.
It was Patrick Bateman. Apparently, in Bret Easton Ellis's novel American Psycho, it's referenced. Apparently, this movie is referenced 37 times. Again, makes sense when you look at what Patrick Bateman does in that story.
5, Wayne, not 137. I am not Patrick Bateman. That's how many times I've seen it. 5.
You've seen 5, yeah.
Oh, 5. I would say 5.
Yeah, but it's referenced in the novel 37 times, which is a lot. But again, it makes total sense why someone like Bateman would like this film.